RealTuners Radio.
Are you interested in learning how to tune electronic fuel injection live in person with the guys from RealTuners? We have 2-day courses in dyno shops across the country. Register for all of these at RealTuners.com. Click on RealTuners Live Classes. If you'd like to bring 2 or more people, talk to us about group discounts. For more info or to make a reservation, go to RealTuners.com or message us at RealTuners LLC on Facebook. Learn how to tune your own standalone EFI systems like Holley, Fuel Tech, Megasquirt, Fast, and others on the chassis dyno. Includes topics such as traction control, individual cylinder tuning on a budget, and power adders. Upcoming classes with available seats are as follows. EFI Essentials in Detroit, Michigan, May 12th through 13th, and May 26th and 27th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then Holley EFI Essentials at 417 Motorsports in Springfield, Missouri, June 9th and 10th. And an Essentials class covering all standalones at Nano Nitrous in Kansas City on July 21st and 22nd. These classes are designed to help you get your project running successfully in a course taught by people who've actually done this kind of stuff for a living.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to RealTuners Radio episode 46. Tonight, your guest is... it's us. It's us, guys. We're taking your tech questions. We're taking every question you could possibly have on the face of the earth. You want to talk boost bottles and blowers? We got you covered. You want to talk politics and flat earth? Go check out the other podcast. Tonight, keeping you entertained is the usual panel of flunkies such as John Bewley from Little John's Motorsports, Mark Dahlquist from Throttles Performance, Cody Bruce of Nano Nitrous, Bill Fowler slowing us down from Bear Brakes, James Short from Shore Tuning, Tom Sewell, Fuel Injector Development, and Dan Parker, star of the documentary Driven Blind, and this guy, Rye Klemp from Bull City Speed. And the dude tuning this thing is none other than Scott Clark from RealTuners.
Good evening, everybody. What's shaking? How's it going? Oh, another wonderful intro from Rye that I probably should have listened to a little more clearly. He even choked a little bit on that one. And he even bitched out, and he's not here right now. He made the recording, and then he's like, I'll check in later, man.
Punk.
That's all right. Oh, so what's everybody doing tonight, man? I'm watching the weather here in Omaha. It is blowing through, looking kind of nasty.
I'm eating all the stuff that's going to go bad in my fridge when I leave out of town for 2 weeks.
I was a little late at joining because I literally was throwing every car into my shop last minute.
You guys are fixing to get pounded. I'm looking at it's going a little south of me, but that's Mo. He's in Kansas City, and they are. You guys are looking to get pounded, aren't you? I should post.
So are you telling me that sitting here in Fargo, North Dakota, on a very gorgeous day, I have the best weather out of all of you?
Oh, hell no. It's 82 degrees in Kentucky. Don't even, there ain't no competition.
Hard
right
to beat
now.
those guys as weather, man.
I got 70 and nice right now.
It was 88
70 is
here
nice.
in Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, man. Listen to all the places we got these guys coming from. How cool. So we thought tonight we
Nationwide, baby.
Nationwide. That's
I'll be
right.
back up to 90 by the weekend.
You can't stop this. So,
What up, guys?
hey, Mr. Sewell, FID, rolling in right on time.
A
Wow.
couple minutes late, I made it. Mowing
Dude,
the grass.
What's your weather doing? He's mowing the grass. What
Is
an
that,
image.
is that what you're calling it now?
Yeah, pretty much. First mow of the year.
Oh, I got my first mow coming up here, only I'm not going to be doing it.
I mow the grass like 3 times a day sometimes.
I got my hired gun guy is going to be doing it for me.
Nice.
No, I'm not going to be here. Normally I do all the mowing when I'm home, but this particular week or this next couple of days, we got a business trip some of us are going to meet on. Courtesy of the Holly
Business for
folks.
some.
Yeah.
Business for some. Pleasure for others.
Bewley's picking up a new truck. I just hope that thing don't break on you. On
I
the
just
ride home.
live here.
Yeah.
Man, don't even, Jim. Why are you going to say that? Why are you even going to
You know what's
go
going to
there?
happen? He's going to try and put that
What?
shiny shift knob on, or he's
Man.
going to stop at Blake's and put a clutch in it, and it's going to screw up, and then he's going to be like, "Help me get home."
No, dude, you should have heard the fit Blake through when I told him I was going to. Oh, hell no. We on Sunday afternoon, you want to try to do some dumb shit like that?
Have good luck with Danielle on that, brother. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I had him going, man. I had him going hard. He was wound up.
Blake's
It
good.
was
Dude.
hilarious.
Speaking of wound up, does this thing already have tow mirrors on it?
Of course, it's got tow mirrors on it. It's a Dodge,
Did it just
and
come
they're
standard?
chrome.
Dude, are you going to
They're
put dual
chrome.
antennas on it and a big old
Oh, no.
semi
You,
horn?
I ain't
you've seen
gonna do
the
that.
meme with Cornholio holding out his hands and
All right.
saying, "I'm a Dodge." That's it.
So do they have a special class at Bonneville for tow mirrors?
I don't know.
I don't
We
know,
should.
man. They'll slow you down 10 mile an hour, I bet.
Tow mirrors, or
well-
maybe a sailboat, something like that.
It's not that the trucks lose any miles per gallon towing. It's you put the tow mirrors out, and that's where all the fuel mileage goes.
Right?
Right? Well, see, here's the thing about it. That's the reason why I bought this truck, because I don't need the tow mirrors out just to see around, the fat ass dooley fenders on one. So that's
Dude,
the
your
why I
reason you
a
bought
single
that
wheel.
truck is because it's like an 8-foot extension of certain appendages. That's why we buy those
I've been-
trucks. Come on.
What color is it?
It's white. She's
Have you
it's
seen it?
bright white.
What is the interior
God.
package is that, man? It's got what, and I don't want to refer to the
That's-
Ford one, but it's got the nice interior with the dark, like rawhide leather looking stuff. What is that?
Yeah, it's the long in the Dodge version. That'd be the Longhorn with the distressed leather. That's the equivalent, but it's the
nice.
Laramie.
Yeah.
It's the Laramie. It's a Laramie package.
Oh, it's a bitchin' truck.
Which is the absolute highest trim package you could have the manual transmission.
Mega cab,
with.
long bed, 4x4?
No, it's not long. It's not long. It's still a short, but
Okay.
it is a mega cab, 6-speed manual transmission, 3,500 single wheel.
Super rare
She's-
this late.
She's gorgeous. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gorgeous. My dream truck. That's the truck I wanted when I bought my gray one. So, and that's the only reason the gray one got sold, is because I found that truck and was able to buy it. So that's it. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I even traded.
Oh yeah, good for you, John. You
Yeah,
deserve
good for you, man.
Good job.
Yeah, man, she's gorgeous. That interior is the reason why.
Oh,
I'm
it's
flying
bad
at night.
ass. Yeah, I just haven't seen many Dodges with that interior.
I haven't either. and
It's
that's
like
one
the
of
King
reasons I
Ranch
wanted it
version
so
of the
bad.
Fords or whatever, but none of the Dodge guys
Yeah.
ever spring for it, I guess. I don't know. I like it. I hate to say King
I don't
Ranch
know.
and
The,
Ford, but
the, everybody I talk to, like all my buddies and stuff. Well, why didn't you get the dark interior? Why didn't you get the dark interior? Well, they don't do the two-tone on the dark interior.
Right.
They only do the two-tone on the tan and brown.
listen
or
to
the
this
tan
guy.
and chocolate.
Garnish my plate
So-
with onions. I'll have flan for dessert. What's next? Two-tone.
The shift knob.
Oh, the shift knob's next, right? That's first. I know you're bringing that with
Right.
you.
Well, man, how'd you know?
Did you polish it? Did you find someone to polish it
No,
already?
I didn't. No, I haven't gone that far with it yet. I don't even think I'm going to bring it home. But I want to give a shout out to my boy Ryan at Noble's Diesel in Indiana. He's a customer of mine on gas stuff, and he owns a diesel shop. And I made a post asking about it, and just because I don't know, the aggravating thing about the whole situation is the fact that the shifter's black and the boot's black, and it looks just tacked on to the truck. It doesn't like match any of the rest of it. So
right.
I had a Ricer moment, feeling like, I want to redo this and make it look like it belongs in the truck. So yeah, he hooked me up and got me the machined aluminum South Bend clutch shift knob to replace the stocker with.
Sweet. Lots of people
Yeah,
logged
it's
in.
pretty cool.
Good to see all these guys. Yeah, we got a big crowd tonight. Dude, y'all better start asking some questions because that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, there's only so much we can talk about my new toy.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of questions coming in here. No, this is cool. We got plenty to run with.
John, I don't believe you. I think you could talk about this truck for the full 2 hours.
No. I'm chomping at the bit to get on that airplane tomorrow and go get my hands on it, because it's mine now technically, and she's
Yeah, it's
2,000
yours, and
miles
somebody
away.
else is taking hot rod videos with it for the last 36 hours, beating the shit out of it. There's videos on some guy's Facebook.
Last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Woohoo, rednecks.
Yeah, see, I don't know that any of the salesmen can actually drive the truck, because I was.
Oh, they
I was
can.
No, they can.
no,
You're
well,
hoping. You're hoping.
I was Listen, I was joking because you got the one salesman that I talked to when I bought it. She can't drive the truck. She can't drive a standard transmission, so she can't.
Yeah, just which means they fucked up the clutch when they tried to drive it.
God,
Well, he's already got a new clutch waiting, so he's okay there.
South Bend for the
already
win.
got a new clutch. Valere. Won't put a Valere.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Oh, I get you. But you're gonna use a South Bend shift knob.
Well, they're the only one that makes the shift knob.
I had a South Bend clutch in my ISB truck back in the day, and it lasted a long time.
They make a really, really good clutch.
The
I know a
NV
lot of people
4500.
that run South Bends. Yeah,
I've got a South Bend in my Audi.
Yep.
Yeah, but
I need
got
to have
1958 South Bend Lays at the school.
Sweet.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Gonna guess different company, same town, across town.
Yeah.
South Bend, Indiana, not the biggest town.
Yeah.
Oh
no, but there's a lot of stuff that comes out of that part of the world, ain't there?
Oh yeah, tons. Manufacturing, man, that's kind of the portal that was in the way back in the day when the whole Detroit machine was running. I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and there's all kinds of foundries and stuff in northern Indiana there that's blocks are made and shit like that I can't explain or understand. List a little bit. Tuner guy, he doesn't know anything. He don't know nothing.
So do we want to start on some questions or?
Mark's
Something we can start with.
Mark, hey, there's a ton on the Facebook, dude. There's like 40 of them, and you have a huge crowd tonight.
We've got some on Mixler too. So
okay,
right.
Mark, why don't you take some Mixler questions and we'll move over to Facebook.
Well, this guy's asking 4 PS. He's got a 4 PSI boost spike after the shift. It's triggering overboost protection. What's the remedy? It's
Turn off overboost protection. Number one.
It's gonna. Yep. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it because it's gonna happen.
Put your big boy panties on.
Well, and so
lacy drawers off and
Nebraska Muscle. I think I know that guy.
Spike won't hurt anything.
Nebraska Muscle, any muscle. Tell us who you are because I think I know you. I recognize that name, and I'm not far from you. But boost spike not uncommon when you increase big load on the motor. And it's as much a function as everything else, airflow through the exhaust side and all kinds of shit can cause that. So I say live with it. Don't even worry about it. And just have your tune right.
Not for where it's at. Not from where it's at because he's only spiking from 10 to 14 on the shift. And even though it's a pump gas tune-up on 91 octane, there shouldn't be any issue with running 14 PSI.
Depends what your inlet air temps are. Depends what I'm going to say what your inlet air temps are.
A short shift.
But you can have the tune.
And you can always make it after a certain time. So use the function that allows it to turn off after a certain time, not just the full cut on that spike. Don't use the main spike cutoff.
He's a Megascore guy. I don't know if he's got an option, and you might have to build your own custom stuff to cut that off like that. But not a big deal.
Here's the other thing you guys got to remember.
Hang on, Scott, hang on.
I was going to say, you got to remember, if he's doing it on the shift, he's probably doing it at peak torque. So if he wants to be safe, go in and pull some timing out.
Well, yeah, yanks that where that 14 pounds goes up, yank out 5 degrees from where it's at 10.
Exactly. If you're worried about it, pull some timing out and then don't worry about it.
So put it that in your timing map so that only when the boost cranks up to 14, then all of a sudden all the timing got lame and you won't hurt it.
Next.
He says you tuned his Camaro in Omaha a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds familiar.
It's 7-1 AFR on LS60 twin turbo 20 pounds of boost, too fat. Will a fat tune not
fuel?
Let the turbo properly? Yeah. What fuel? If it's gas, it's way too fat. If it's E85, it's kind of still way, way fat. I don't think I've ever run E85 down at 7.
Shout out to Curtis Forsberg, my man. I'm just reading through the Facebook posts. Curtis is in here. Gold Dust. It's coming back.
Matt Adams claims he's going to fix his header finally.
No, he's not. He's lying. That thing wouldn't be right without exhaust leaks from hell. Right. Let's see what else we got here. Which of you freaks will we see at LS Fest this weekend? All right, I'll confess. We're going. I'm going. Chad Reynolds is going to be announcing the whole time, so I got to go visit him. He's one of my best friends. I'm on a business trip out there in Vegas anyway as a result of this, so going to hang out with the Holly guys, talk to Ricky Best, see Ryan Whitty. Ryan I think is staying at home. Doug Flynn's going, and Robin Lawrence is out there. So we were going to go hang out with some of the Holly guys while we are in Vegas at LS Fest West. Seemed like a good thing to do while we were in town. So, but yeah, Bewley's going to be out there picking up a truck. Evans lives there. Chad Reynolds is there. We're going to arrange dinner. I'm going to have dinner with all you guys over the next 5 days. It's going to be kick ass. I'm hopping a plane tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Hey, how come I wasn't invited to this?
I didn't even know what was going on until like 2 days ago. I didn't even consider
one
it.
of those.
Ouch, that hurts.
Yeah.
We were
Hey,
just
Tom,
talking.
would you like to come along? Like, your wife's going to cut the noose anyway, dude.
Dude, I can do whatever I want.
Oh, don't even come off of that bullshit.
Where's Chanley Parks at? The only chick that listens to the show.
On here,
I
she'll tell you that.
didn't need an invitation.
Yeah,
Man.
she'll tell you.
My wife's due the 27th in June, and I mentioned going racing on the 25th.
And she's
gave me a
down?
finger, like you're pushing it.
Yeah, nice. Nah, that's a good girl right there.
Just tell her to help the kid along.
I said, Grandma's going to be here. What do you need me
Let's
for?
go walk.
I already did my part.
Take her to the track and let her walk around. That kid will pop out in no time.
Brian Friedentag, meth injection. What percentage methanol versus water do you like? 100% methanol. I'm not a fan of water. That's all.
No,
Maybe for a little, not for nitrous if you got to, but it's always just for crutching. You got to know. You got to break stuff to find out you need it.
10 to 1 compression 408 LS. He's looking at a Viren's turbo at VS Racing. What turbo would be a good fit? He's
Viren's.
buying a Billet 88.
Viren Singh.
None of them. He needs a forced inductions with a 100 millimeter turbine.
Come on now.
Or a pair of Borg Warner 6673s and you're good to go.
I'm not a fan of the 96 millimeter turbine on 400 inch plus motors. I'm
Got
just
it.
not.
Okay.
That's and it's not right. It's not anything against Variant's turbochargers, and if it, it's not anything against them. It's literally it's the cubic inches of the engine.
Gotcha.
The 100 millimeter turbine is another 150 to 200 horsepower worth of capability.
Right. I got you. Okay. Now, moving through them. What is the correct way? This is Dylan Woody. What's up, Dylan? He was at one of my classes at TIG Performance, my second class of the year. Dylan says, what is the correct way to use an air-to-water intercooler? Turn it on during the run or before the run or what? Let me just, before everybody jumps in, everybody's got an answer. Dylan, you got an inlet air temp sensor on your Holly. Try a couple of different things. Try turn it on right after the burnout. The idea is to start chilling it down before the pass a little bit. That's typically what I've seen work, but your inlet air temp sensor is going to tell the tale. Right? Watch in your data logs what your inlet air temp sensor is doing after a run and try a couple of passes where you've turned it on in different places. Be aware of the temperature of the water in the intercooler and not just the inlet air temp coming out of it. Does anybody else want to
Also
chime in?
how big of a cooler you have, how big of a tank you have, and how good of a pump you have.
Yeah, in the end, it's the
Because
results you get from that combo.
Kind of slow, you got to turn it on sooner.
Yeah.
The idea is to cool down the actual where the air goes through portion of the intercooler so that it can remove the heat from the air that's going through it.
Just as an example for the situation you're talking about, 7-gallon tank, Precision PT 2000, EMP 150 pump, or a EWP 150 pump, 20 lines. We would pre-chill the intercooler with one bag of ice in the pits, and we would circulate the pump, pre-chill the cooler, and then drain some of it off, and then put a full ice load on, and then not start the pump until after the burnout when making a hit. Yep. So that's the approach that we would take on a run where we did pre-chilling on the intercooler. That would usually result
70 or 80 degrees out of the intercooler with the pre-chilling.
Right. Well, that resulted in 40 degree lower temperature at the start of the run. And it also resulted in about a 20 degree reduction in rise during the run. So not only did the starting line temperature improve and was lower, it also reduced the rate of rise for the run. So pre-chilling is usually how you're going to achieve the absolute best result. Now, that's based on a gasoline fuel that can actually work with the temperatures being that cold. And one of the few that can do that is Q16 and VP import. Some of the alcohols, the alcohol-based fuels, some of the higher temperature tolerance gasolines like C16, they don't like being super, super cool and super, super cold. So
alcohol doesn't like to be below about 60 degrees. You get it below 60, it doesn't want to light.
C16 doesn't either.
Yeah, C16, you get a little more leniency, but it doesn't like to be cold.
Yeah. We
I'll
always
agree with that.
import on John Gullett's Mustang.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, import likes really cold temperatures. Q likes really cold temperatures. C does not. if you keep C under 100 degrees, C's happy. Anywhere from 70 to 100 degrees.
I'm going to say let's move along. Oh, crap. Where did it go? Bill Armstrong's question. Come on, window. I'm dragging this window down trying to catch it. He asked 14 PSI. Is it possible? Bill Armstrong has been in one of my classes. What's up, Bill? He was in Colorado. And I think that's the same Bill. Pretty sure it is. He asked about it at 14 PSI. I believe he's an LS combo. Oh, wait. No. No, it was Bill a Ford guy?
The plug gap one?
Yeah, it's the plug gap one. He's like, could the plug gap affect power and not hear the or not have misfire? It could affect power and you not hear the misfire. We've seen that. Bewley and I have seen that now a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a fan of like 18,000 gap start there because you can actually have power and your great ears won't hear it necessarily because it's just missing like 3% of the combustion cycles and you probably not going to hear something. You're probably got to take like 15% of the cycles to be misfired before your ear really, really notices it. Then yeah. So I'd say close that gap down to like 18, start there.
Well, I mean, Jason Bazank's, this is the latest one in the spark, the spark plug gap deal. He had some plugs in the motor that were 24 and they were just running the motor in, getting bass tunes in it. And they made like a 14 PSI pulled those out, put a fresh set of plugs in the motor at 17 or 18. And then they made another hit identical to the last one before the plug change just to test it. And the car picked up 60 wheel. So between a fresh set of plugs and narrowing the gap like 6 or 7 thousandths, there was 60 horsepower found. And there was nothing adjusted in the tune to try and, to bring the power up. So that was literally just a back-to-back test.
And while we say close the gap, you got to be careful of how far down you go as well. There is a limit to the lower side where you just don't have a big enough spark to do anything. So be careful as you inch it down further if you need to, so that you can find the point where it still lights, because there's a point you get down like 10, 11 as a gap, then you're going to have to really get a really hot ignition to make a big enough spark to make it happen.
Usually you see the idle quality go away really.
Yeah, the idle quality is what goes away first. It'll run at high load and boost. Johnny Mattingly, what's a good alcohol starting AFR? Johnny Mattingly, you got to tell us if you're in boost, naturally aspirated, or what. Come back with that question with more details.
And which alcohol are you talking? 85
methanol? Yep.
Is the motor dry or is the motor wet?
Give us some details. Yeah, they're going to ask for a lot.
High compression, low compression.
Yeah. Frank Capobianco. Any classes going to happen up here in the clouds in Colorado? You know what? I need to talk to probably Matt Frost. And those guys, they got a dyno up there at Hilltop. I'll try to set something up for late summer, August-ish. Sorry, carry on. What'd you want to say, John?
I was fixing to say the most important question of the night just popped up. Cypher on Mixler. What's on the drink menu for tonight?
Strawberryta, man. I'm sold.
Oh, damn.
Dude, I'm sorry. I was with a guy that was like it was the Meta J6. Those guys were like drink connoisseurs, and they were all giddy because they stopped at some place and found some really pricey bottle of bourbon or what the shit is, whatever you drink, Bewley. And I think I sent you a picture of it, and it was
that's good stuff.
It was good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but tonight I'm telling you what, I'm just the Strawberryta people. Basically, going to hear Strawberryta ads running here, right?
I'm drinking Chattahoochee Punch.
It doesn't have as much sugar.
Chattahoochee Punch. Is that like what's in James Short's refrigerator?
That's water.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it wasn't water in James's. You couldn't see through it. I'd look like kerosene. I'm like, what the hell is this? Cleaning solvent? No, nothing. Just save it here. I'll take it. Put it away.
Yeah, just put that back where it belongs.
Yeah, don't touch that.
Just leave that alone.
Hardwood floors.
Don't make a spark.
Everybody south of the Mason-Dixon line has that in their garage.
Pour it in the fuel tank. It'll get us another 25 RPM. James McGinnis asks, does anybody add salt to their intercooler ice water mix?
I have, and it takes a lot more maintenance.
Yeah, the juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one, James. Leave the salt poured over the beer in the cooler to help keep the beer a little extra colder.
You guys,
it's only when you really, really, really need it on super hot days, and it's the difference between the 0.02 that gets you the win. It's literally that's the time to use it when you have that kind of squeeze.
And then take the thing home and rinse every everything out and
Absolutely.
do the best you can to get all the salt out of everything so it doesn't eat the aluminum.
Yeah, it basically means you get to run water through it for about 5 minutes after every race.
There's some good questions. Don Curtis, conventional headed small block Chevy and X275 trim. What kind of power difference will you see from a 10-to-1 versus a 12-to-1 compression? Can you tune differently with the 10-to-1 to make close to a 12-to-1 on gas? Nope, I don't think you can tune in or out of compression. That's a function of the airflow and the VE of the motor. But Bewley or someone else, I'll defer to you guys on 2 points of compression in a conventional headed SBC. If Chad Spire would always quit having excuses not to be here.
The reality of it is you'll be sucking the compressor dry with depending on which turbocharger that you have, and there's just not going to be any capacity left on the compressor to try and make up what that 2 points of compression would get you. It's not going to be much. I mean, the difference there you're talking is 40 to 50 horsepower at the most.
But you're talking single biggest turbo he can run in a single?
Yeah, I mean the biggest one they can run is like an 88 millimeter. I can't remember what Don's got on his truck. I did the cam in his engine, but he's had it together for actually a while and it's been running it, and I don't remember what's in it. But there's just not enough extra capacity in the compressor to try and be able to make that up. That is, if he can get it to utilize 100% of the airflow available at 10-to-1, which should be possible.
There's some math to determine what the compression ratio acts like with boost, but it doesn't tell you what the airflow acts like with the different compression. And that's the big difference, is the air responds differently than with different compression ratios. Like at 10-to-1 and let's just say 15 pounds of boost for a number. At like 10-to-1, it reacts like you have 20 pounds of compression in the motor. At 12-to-1, it acts like you have 24 pounds of compression in the motor.
I'm going to keep moving. These guys got good questions. And we
at
wrap
10 to
that
1
one
to
up.
get that same 24, you then have to go up to about 20 pounds of boost from 15 to get close.
Mm-hmm.
Turbo Buick question, 91 with 100% methanol. 91 pump gas is what he's saying with 100% methanol. I don't like that combo. But when making change to your AFR, do you like to start on race fuel without meth and get your AFR squared away and then bring meth in and go from there? Yes, but the problem is the race fuel, the Stoic AFR, is going to change a little bit on the pump gas. You'll probably, if you're C16, you're going to be a point leaner than you would be on the pump gas. You'd run the pump gas a point richer, but then the meth is going to kick in. And what that's going to do is it's probably a single or dual nozzle upstream. So part of it's going to get more to one cylinder than others. And you're just going to look at one wideband and think everything's cool. And then it's going to melt parts. I'm not a big fan of
the key is to only spray enough to cool down the air and not make a huge difference in air fuel. You want to get the alcohol to evaporate and cool the air. So like I shoot for about 10 to 12% usually of whatever your total fuel flow is as kind of the maximum that you really want to do before it starts affecting things, because that's
pounds per
light
hour
enough that it doesn't really affect the air fuel too much, and it doesn't screw with distribution too much. It still keeps you safe where you're not going to burn up parts if one hole's a little bit less than the other.
Yeah, that's the trick, is tune it on whatever gas you're on and then add the water meth on top of that as a safety factor.
Turbo 5.3 LS car with microsquirt. Anthony Grossman. What's up, dude? Drove car into shop and drained pump gas out. Replaced with E85 tonight. Changed tune back to the tune that was in it last year with the 85. Car idled for about 30 seconds before losing sync and eventually dying. Now it just cranks. Where to start with the diagnosing? I'm the mega squirt nerd on here. It's microsquirt. Well, the first thing you want to see is if you're getting cranking RPM, and take a data log of cranking it. Are you getting steady RPM, or is it false and jumping all over the place? You said something about losing sync, so that tells me that something went wrong there. However, it's not just your crank sensor or wiring that can screw up your crank sync. It can also be fouled plugs. I would pull the spark plugs and look at them and put fresh plugs in it, possibly. Look for burns on plug wires. Stuff like that can cause sync loss at cranking on a micro or a mega. But that's a quick one there. And then get back with us, man. We'll help you out with that. Ooh, when is Mega Squirt 4 coming out? I just was told that they're Mega Squirt 3 by one of the guys who writes the code for it, that pretty much done with, like, that's what kind of it's reached its limit. I mean, it's got pretty much all the features that it needs. I guess, for the price range. So they are. James Murray says he's working on a new project. That came from Ben Newell, him and his buddy. Supposedly they're working on like the next version, which is going to be their first 32-bit ECU. You know, like Holly, I was 32-bit and everybody else, but it'll be their first 32-bit ECU. They're catching up on that. They're good at making the most out of the little 16-bit stuff that they use. It's pretty badass.
No doubt. That's crazy considering the fact some of them are running 128.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah. Let's see what else. I'm running E98 in my Turbo Trailblazer SS up here, having a hard time starting 50 degrees and colder. Besides a heated garage, is there a better way to help cold starts? Add fuel, see if it's flooding. Dump a little raw gas into it and don't beat on it.
Well, typically for E85, E98, it takes a ton more fuel to light.
Yeah.
The problem is you got to put a ton of fuel in it. But
is that car tuned or is it a stock tune-up if it's a stock calibration? Joey Tarpeo's on. What's up, Joey?
But the issue is when you do that, you have to worry about flood the motor. So it's a real fine line when you're below that 60-degree temperature.
It's much easier to keep a little like restaurant-style ketchup squeeze bottle with a little gasoline in it and squirt a little in somewhere.
Give Trailblazer. He's going to try to explain to his wife how to do that.
Give yourself a little cap that you can put on the intake somewhere that you can screw or unscrew and squeeze it in. Doesn't matter where it goes in, just squeeze in a cap full.
Note to self, not to put Jennifer's Trailblazer SS on that because I know she'll never get it cranked. She has one.
Yeah, starting procedures for top alcohol funny cars from 1978 for your Trailblazer that the wife gets groceries in.
I've seen them take.
Brake clean is the single greatest starting fluid on earth.
Chad Reynolds.
My period.
Yeah.
Point blank.
There you go.
It's good shit. Yeah.
Now the party can start.
The fumes of
Chad, aren't you on a plane like in the morning?
There's no reason to buy ether or any of those things or spray gasoline. Brake clean is the best starting fluid. It isn't hard on shit. It don't rattle like ether, and it's cheap, and it's in a can with a straw on it. It's cute and sprays wherever you point it. It's awesome.
Well, you got to make sure it's flammable brake clean. They got that shitty brake clean out there.
Yeah,
now.
California. Well, yeah, it's still. I was
going to say, my shitty California brake clean lights on fire real good. Ask me how.
Right. We've been there.
There's a video of that on YouTube.
Any of the O'Reilly brand, AutoZone brand brake cleaners will light just fine.
Gotcha.
Yes. And do not, though, just as the tech tip, ladies and gentlemen, do not under any circumstances clean metal that you are going to weld with brake clean. Use acetone. Do not use brake clean. Brake clean releases of fumes that will melt your brain literally while you're using it. I mean, it's that bad.
We have users reporting that this is true and factual. Good for starting lawnmowers.
There you go. See? It's good for starting everything.
We need Fowler to make sure that
I use it in the shop quite frequently for that purpose.
Yeah, I always have brake clean on hand. In fact, when in doubt, like brake clean's way better than carburetor cleaner.
I sometimes clean my hands with a brake cleaner.
I do too, but I can tell you one thing you don't want to wash with brake clean. Actually, two things. Probably your wiener. I can't confirm that, but based on how bad it hurts my face, I'm going to say don't clean your wang with any brake clean. But if you try and clean your face with it, I guarantee you will look like the kid in Home Alone.
Well, if you're a good mechanic, you clean your hands before you go pee.
Oh my!
I'll tell you, for cleaning your.
I didn't know you were supposed to do that.
We could get
my shit's always got grease all over it.
So, do you know how much trouble we could get into tonight if having Chad on here without Fowler?
Right. That's what I'm sitting here like messaging Fowler. Hey, dude, can you come on and get us a disclaimer, please?
But Bill's not here.
Why? I never say anything that'll get us in trouble with the people we need to worry about being in trouble with.
Well, I mean, the FCC is everywhere. You never know. You never know what
we can do. Whatever we want, as proof by half of the crap that's on television.
Well, you have a point, but God bless.
Brake clean like a sore wiener, can't beat it.
He's gonna try it. He's not sure he believes you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I dare somebody to just spray a good load of it on their hand and then grab all of themselves and see what happens.
Oh, Don Curtis
is going to be
hang on.
That's going to be the next
in red.
That'll be the next Facebook challenge. Just wait.
Oh, dude, it's way better than Tide Pods, though. I mean, it can't kill you.
Did
Are you sure?
Chad? Are you announcing the LS Fest? What's the schedule this weekend? When does racing start? Is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or what's the date?
Yes, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you want anything more specifics than that, I'm sorry I don't have all that info yet. But yes, I am announcing at LS Fest West in Las Vegas this weekend. I know you will be there. All the cool kids will be. Hint, hint. And we'll be having a great time. This event last year was great. And it was the first year. I guarantee you this year will be even better. There is all kinds of shenanigans that go on at this event. So we're having autocross, we're having drag racing, we're having road racing, we're having drifting. We're going to have a burnout contest for people that are normal folks that just like to smoke their tires and spin around and do donuts like a sideshow style, which will be great. There's off-road action going on with, big jumps. It's going to be awesome. In fact, one thing that just hit the airwaves last night, and I still can't believe this, and I am begging to get behind the wheel of it.
No, bullshit. You are in line behind me because I already talked to Ricky first before you got there. If I dibs, but go ahead.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Ricky Best got his hands on one of Robbie Gordon's stadium super trucks. And I've been around
those things that like all motor
lot.
make like 900 horsepower, 850 horsepower, something like that.
Oh, dude, they're ridiculous.
The bar somewhere. I'm ready for a ride.
I know, dude. You need to make that happen, Chad.
Listen, that sounds like some strip cruising. Tomorrow night.
I think that's Yuli's new
those trucks can do it too, man.
It's the stadium truck.
It's a stadium truck. Yep.
Hey,
as long as it's got a license plate.
Yeah, Bewley's new Dodge versus the stadium truck, drag racing down the strip.
Yeah.
That's some YouTube video stuff right there.
Dude, the stadium trucks are so much fun to watch.
Robbie's
that is one of the most.
Gotten in enough trouble with the police for driving them on the road.
Yeah.
As in, for a long time, he wasn't allowed back in Australia, kind of thing. So,
yeah, I remember seeing the video of that.
Yeah, so I say, come on, he was being diplomatic. That's what it was. He was bringing American cheer to our Aussie friends.
Right.
But apparently the anti-hooning laws are legit over there.
Right, they're crazy.
I mean,
hey, Tom,
I know, it really does make you want to go like last day of your vacation and just roll something all the way to the rim. Like just boil the tires till it's done. Like rent a truck from Home Depot, park it against the nearest shopping mall wall and just put it to the wood, set the cruise control, get out, drop the mic, the whole deal.
Facebook Live.
I may or may not know how to do these things.
I'm not laughing because if y'all MFs have ever hung out with Chad for any real time, you're like, wait a minute, we talk about this and it sounded funny. We could be going to jail. No, I ain't laughing. Chad's serious. I'll watch.
That's what everything he says. This is not theoretical.
I'll hold your beer.
They're recollections. These are recollections, not theoretical situations.
Oh, these guys in the rental cars, they're so evil to the poor little Suzuki Swifts and the Nissan Versas or whatever the hell they get. Oh,
hey, Tom Soul.
Hey, if you weren't supposed to.
Hold on a second. Hey,
if you weren't supposed to do a burnout in a Nissan Versa, then Nissan wouldn't have a series of things that you needed to do to the car in order to turn the traction control off. And they do involve like tapping the brake a certain number of times, the throttle a certain number of times, like, flicking the wiper arms on and off and a bunch of junk, but it works.
My theory is on the shifter, the N stands for not enough RPMs. You get it bounced off the rev limiter. Then you drop it down to D for do a burnout.
Chad's rule of rental cars, number one, him and Papa John Huber. If you're not a man unless you know what the rev limiter is set to before you leave the rental parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Amen, brother.
Right?
It's my motto.
Oh.
I scared Brian Loans one time in an airport parking garage where we picked up a rental car and the car was, pulled in nose first up against a concrete wall. And I got in the car and Brian got in the car. And of course he immediately buried his nose in his phone and I set the thing on the chip and there's a wall in front of us and he about shit himself. It was awesome. And, he grabbed hold of everything, what are you doing? What do you mean? What am I doing?
I've been there with
Clearly
Loans and I feel the same way. We're like, no, we talk about this. We joke about it. He's actually going to do it.
Oh yeah,
I got a
always.
good rental car story.
Whenever possible.
Yeah, everybody's got rental car stories. I got friends who own a rental car company, and I just feel bad for that guy because he just knows when people like us come through. That's what all that insurance is for.
Like Jackass, I think I hit a dog.
My Snapchat story today was beating on a rental car.
Lovely.
See? Good on you. Good on you.
Hey, Tom Sowell, when Chad said all the cool people are going to be there, guess what? I guess who that doesn't include?
Oh,
Ouch.
I'm sorry. Was that out loud? My inside voice got out.
I read my mail. I didn't get an invitation either.
Hey, consider this your invite. You need to be on a plane tomorrow morning.
Yeah, get on the plane tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We're all going to converge
I
on
will be
this.
in Tulsa, Oklahoma the following weekend if anybody's in the neighborhood.
That I could
For
do.
the throwdown in T-Town.
You're going to be in Tulsa then?
What? Yeah.
If I didn't know about
Weekend
this-
after. Not this weekend, the weekend after.
I'm in Detroit teaching a class.
That sucks.
Hey, speaking of which, Detroit people,
Yeah,
there are
Midwest
actually
Pro
2
Mod,
seats
baby.
left to the class May 12th in Detroit, May 12th and 13th.
What?
Yep.
No way.
No, I had
Dude.
some duplicates and a guy canceled. I had one duplicate, guy accidentally reserved 2, and then another guy canceled. I cleaned up the list and there was 2 open seats left. I contacted the guys on the wait list. They got their contact. I gave them a couple hours and I'm just telling people now it'll fill up. But check it out.
Yeah.
Should be pretty cool.
We had a question. We can actually go back to tech questions, I guess, right?
Yep.
Building a true street
Sorry for
drag.
disturbing the flow.
No, it's all right, man. It's always fun when you come
There's
rolling.
actually been a lot of people asking about the V5 Holly, and then now they're asking if that's going to support 8 widebands.
Technically, now that support 8 widebands already, if you wrote your own offset per cylinder, you could technically make 8 widebands work and actually correct right now. Is it going to be a sexy plug and play thing like the Megasquirt guys have? I don't think so. It didn't sound like it. There's no CAN-based 8 widebands that I know of. I only got part of the details.
Widebands with correction real time isn't quite right because it's always behind because it's not.
It is
it's
and it isn't. If
further
you put them in the
behind.
right place, it's actually right on. I mean, we've done the same thing. The Megasquirt, you just plug in each analog
Yeah.
channel is mapped to
Use
the
the
injector.
advanced tables.
Yeah, they get you in the ballpark pretty quick if for a competitive situation, max effort
Yeah.
stuff.
Andy Netherland asks, he says he's building a true street dragweight car. What heads, crank stroke would you run? Parts gathered so far, Dart, he's got the block, the rods, and a pair of 76 75s. I'd build a 416 on that if it was mine. And I'd just put a trick flow 245 on top of it. That's more than enough head to support that. And that is more than enough turbocharger to run 460s in the 8. So there's that one. It's a hard parts question. It's easy.
John Bewley, are you taking your new shift knob with you and installing it at the dealer before you leave the dealer lot with the truck?
It probably won't get installed at the dealer lot. I'll probably wait till I get to Frank Guerrero's shop up at Revolution Raceworks there, Revolution Street Cars there in Vegas, and I'll probably wait till I can get to his toolbox so I can get the stock one off. But yeah, I thought about taking it. And Derek Sanders, I saw the comment you made at the opening of the show. Just remember, you've got to come to work at 9:00 in the morning.
You better be careful because you're going to end up staying out there like Monday and Tuesday, and Derek's going to quit on you.
Right? I may end up making him stay by himself Monday and Tuesday just for insubordinate insubordinate comments made on the podcast on Wednesday night. Oh, what else?
Trying to get Scott Liggett from Blueprint on here. Blueprint Crate Motors, my buddy. He likes to listen in. He don't talk much.
With a 60-2 crank trigger MS3, do you have to run a cam sensor to use sequential injection and non-batch fire?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
You can run an untimed
otherwise it
semi-sequential, but it'll fire each TDC.
Yeah, it doesn't know which one is your intake exhaust stroke and which one is your compression stroke if you don't have the cam sensor.
Piece of cake.
Jay Harper, the class in Detroit is at JP DeLisi's shop.
No. First one is on May 12th. The first one is at Michael and Steve Lick's shop. It's full throttle speed. The second one that one pretty much filled up. So we opened one up at JP's. It's about halfway full. JP DeLisi shop is like a month later.
I can't remember.
July.
Ah, gotcha.
Yep.
I didn't realize you had two.
I do, because we filled that one up so fast. I'm working on a Philly date. Everybody, I'm working on Philly, DFW again. We're getting there, and some HP tuners classes. We're going to bring those online. We are, like, I got dates out and people jockeying for position right now. So
that looks like some rather shitty weather at your place.
yeah, you see that? Well, it actually blew around us. I'm right on the green edge there, just outside of Omaha. So it blew around us, which is cool. But what about, what's our Kansas City guys
if
getting?
we suddenly lose the podcast, it means power went out and you haven't got the backup generator started yet.
Yeah, Clark's not good on the only problem. Oh, shoot. What'll go out here? My mixer will go out. We'll lose. Yeah, we would lose you guys because I'm looping through it for some effects. But that's it, though. I just need to run a UPS for my mixer and we would be okay. Because I got Verizon. We're all over Verizon Wireless, man. This whole podcast, the main broadcast, and you guys coming in here is over literally a Wi-Fi hotspot. So I've mastered the art of the low bandwidth broadcast. We're getting close.
Just imagine all the extra stuff we could do if you had like gigabit internet.
We did a show from here in my shop and he was streaming live video while we were talking.
Yeah, because Mark's got the greatest internet ever in a shop. Most ridiculous numbers ever. Darce Laws, David Page both joined. Two good buddies of mine. What's up, guys? Darce was the guy that was at Blake's shop that came all the way from Wyoming last time.
Yeah, Darce is cool people, man.
Oh, he's good people. He came to Blake's.
Yeah, Darce was giving me snaps of as you guys were tuning Daniel's truck on the class. He was sending me snaps of the pulls every time Daniel would make a pull on his truck.
Every time we would, Daniel would pull out a spark plug. He was so paranoid, rightfully so, because he had problems before, but he was pulling a spark plug every pull we would make.
Yeah, I think we got him. I think we got him situated on that problem.
Plugs look good. They look dumb. He's like, man, it looks like it needs more timing and it's a little fat. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, you go out and prove to me you can put down 1100 wheel. Well, you know, it was on Moe's dyno. It was a pretty legit number too. That number did not seem high to me. But I was like, you put down 1100 at the wheel, and then we'll think about making the plugs look like race plugs. Right now, they're fat, dumb, and happy. That's how we start.
Yeah, we like our plugs looking like we like our women, rich and retarded.
Yeah. Jeb Simmons on an TFI 5-liter Ford, rich and retarded. Don't ease. Here we go. Jeb Simmons question on a TFI 5-liter Ford on MS3 Pro. The manual says a pin needs 12 volt during cranking. It needs 12 all the time, and during cranking is what they're talking about, and after it's running. But good luck, man. TFI distributors suck to use on anything. So it's hard to find a good one anymore. The good OEM ones are all worn out, and the remans are just not that great.
The MSD Ford TFIs are actually pretty okay.
Are they okay?
Yeah, they hold up good. They hold timing good. They're accurate. They work well. They're not the best, but they definitely work.
What else we got?
Hey, did you give a shout out to David Page here?
I did from Fast. The comp guys are listening.
Yeah.
You know David you met him at Engine Masters, didn't you too, Mark?
Yeah, and I've talked to him at PRI a couple times too.
Yep. The people at comp are nice. So what else? I'm just sitting here playing with watching the weather radar. We are okay. It's blowing past us. I feel for you, Des Moines.
Why are you going to have like a tornado or something?
Yeah. We had stuff blow through here. That's from here all the way to Oklahoma City.
Wow.
It's literally the top of Tornado Alley to the bottom of Tornado Alley, all in one big blast.
Danny Smith wants to know how to keep a max effort stock modular Ford rod alive. Well, leave it stock.
Right.
More change than brains.
Say that again.
If you open up a mod motor and look at those things, those rods that they put in those are about the size of my pinky. So upgrade them, and that's how you make the bottom end live.
So how do you have an engine that's bigger than a house and it has connecting rods in it the size of a pencil?
You buy it, you let Ford engineer it and design it. That's how that happens.
The block is the size of a mouse house. It's the heads that take up all the space.
281 cubic inches, but it looks like it'd take up 800.
A big block Chevrolet.
Say that again, Chad.
They're bigger than a big block Chevrolet.
Yeah,
they're huge. They're huge.
They can be pretty badass though. Curtis Forsberg's, man. That thing laid down 1,320 wheel horsepower. How appropriate on a stingy dyno. And then the thing went out, and he was having to get out of it a bunch and ran a bunch of 8.0s. It sucked. That thing would be well into the 7s, but he had weight and balance issues. It was a little too much weight on the rear.
I really have a case of crayons.
Oh, Ryan Hargett, just don't get me started. I could go on all night about that thing.
Eric Yost joining us in the Facebook chat.
In the house. The biggest.
I was just about to mention him. So 2 things. His buddy, his name just escapes me. So Eric, remind us in the chat. His buddy holds like all the records with a mod motor and a single 76mm turbo or whatever in there. I don't remember what they call it, Ultra Street or something down there.
Yeah, the red mod motor car that runs Ultra Street. I can't remember the dude's name to save my life.
Yeah, and I was just at Yost's place the other day, and we were talking about it, and I can't remember, but the kid is awesome, like super cool dude. I've been lucky enough to hang out with him a couple times at the races, and he split those blocks in half, trying to find the limit and succeeding. But man, he knows now how to go fast on those suckers. But I'm 100% confident that there
Mark
are no
Rogers
stock
car?
rods in them.
Yeah, Mark Rogers' car. Yeah, that's a guy's
There you go, Mark Rogers. Yeah.
Isn't the convertible?
Bunch. I was thinking, I think I know who that is.
Yeah, Eric. Yeah, it's Mark.
And the other thing is, everybody needs to go and like and share Biggin's video because that whole 10 grand drag challenge, whatever the hell it is, thing. They're in the hunt on that, and so to make it to the top 5, they need everybody to share and like their posts. So go to Eric's thing. Eric should put it he'll put a link in the chat, I'm sure. But you got to go share it and like it so that he can go. I have to tell you that all of y'all that are out there that are going to enter that against Eric and those guys, dude, you better start doing your homework.
Listen, man. Now there's some guys in this deal. That whole deal, if depending on what the last 3 teams are to get picked, that is going to be absolutely epic. Because let's think about this for a minute. You got the guys from Biggins, Eric Yost, all of those guys. Then you got Team Stinky Pinky, Dean, Jimmy Bowling, and all those guys. And then there's a group of guys out of Florida that are going. I can't remember the team name right off the top of my head. But you've got Kevin Smith from KSR, who's a RealTuners class host, who's hosted a class for us. And then on his team, he's got Eric Kenward, who has the green Malibu wagon that raced NMCA Extreme Street and a couple of other classes. So you have got a stacked group of guys that are going to just literally blow that whole thing out of the water, depending on the final 3. Because if you got Eric Yost and those guys with Dean and the guys with his team Stinky Pinky, and then Eric Kenward and Kevin from KSR, man, that's going to be just a knockdown, drag out kind of show. It's going to be epic to see.
Is it going to be 1/8 mile or 1/4 mile?
I honestly don't know. I hadn't even really read into it that deep.
They haven't decided, or they haven't announced any of that yet. It's really kind of limited on a bunch of the stuff, but it's it'll be interesting to see. Honestly, I wish the rules were a little different than they are. I think it could be even better, but what they're doing is they're trying to lock it down so that there isn't any bullshit factor in it.
Yeah.
But they're guys that don't know how to make rules, so that's why they're having to do it the way they are. If they just made some good rules, they'd be better off. But anyway, it does have the potential to be really, really awesome. So no doubt.
I predict they'll run 5.0s to 5.20s in the 8th in that deal.
I think somebody's going to put a 4 on the board. If it's an 8th mile deal, somebody will put a 4 on the board.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think that it would be really hard not to.
And if you get,
I think it's going to be really hard not to run a 4, because quite frankly, I mean, I think you can run deep in the 8s for 10 grand, deep in the 8s. Now, because of the way that they're doing this and they're making you use a car that they already have, and they're, putting some kind of value on that car, that makes it a little harder. But if you truly could go out on Craigslist and buy a, a $500 car, then I think you could run deep in the 8s for 10 grand.
Yeah, if you got my F body, spend $2,500 to get a rear end up under it. That's gonna kill it. If you get a Mustang with 8.8 and LS it, beat it up, make it light, you can do it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree wholeheartedly, and that's the deal, is that and it all depends on your junkyard hunting ability and your fabrication ability. Because quite frankly, I could go get a G body also here in town, and then I can go to the wrecking yard and pick up a 9-inch Ford rear out of a Ford pickup, or any number of 3/4 ton and 1 ton rears that may not be what you would choose if you were drag racing this car as a real race car. But if you're doing something like this, it certainly would live through 10 or 20 or 30 drag strip passes, and give you some gear ratio in it if you needed it, depending on your combo. I mean, the beauty of a turbo combo is that a 355 gear or a 4.0 gear is all you need, and you're fine.
Yeah, that's right. And you put 8.8 up under a G body.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but if anybody wants to take bets, my money is on Biggin and the crew.
Yeah,
they're my guys.
Man, I tell you what, depending on who the final 3 are, I'm going to refrain from placing bets until I know who the final 3 are. Because that's going to, I don't know if that's going to be too close to call, man. I don't know that you can. I don't know it's going to be able to be. I really hope it's Eric and all those guys, and it's going to be close and all get out. But I mean, all 3 of those teams, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, all 3 of them are crazy talented people.
What you want, boo? Where are you?
What in the world?
He's back talking to himself.
As long as he don't answer himself, everything will be all right. Troy Baum, what's going on, man? That fruity drink you posted the other day, I don't believe that was Jace's, man. I think that was yours. I don't think you can lay that off on Jace this time, Troy.
Dude, I laugh so hard at some of the people I see drinking fruity drinks. We were somewhere the other day. Oh, it was at Spring Fling Million, I think. And there was a dude there who, amidst all these guys drinking whiskey and tequila and beer and everything, there was some dude drinking pina coladas in a can. And he was a big dude.
Listen, I am contemplating staying in Vegas this weekend and coming to LS Fest West just so I can hang out with you and Scott in the tower while you're announcing this. So me and you can team up and make fun of him, just purely make fun of him for the whole Mangarita thing.
Hey, I'm listening over here, but I'm folding up my laundry. Don't still hear you. Talk your shit.
Go fold your drawers.
I'm packing clothes.
Fold your drawers.
Go fold your drawers.
I gotta be on a plane at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
you planned better. Could have packed all week.
Do you plane?
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to be on the plane that early. I don't have to be at the airport till like 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
I'm not leaving until tomorrow evening, and I'm going to drive the 3.5 hours from here.
When are you going?
Actually, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to get in Cole's truck and make him drive.
If you can get in by dinner time, you can come and have dinner with us.
Do what?
I said, if you can get in by dinner time, you can come have dinner with us.
I doubt I will, but if I do, then I'll hit you guys up when I'm getting close. But I'm trying to, or we've got to stay in town to take care of the dog and stuff while Peyton's at work. And when she gets home, then we'll hit the road. But so that could be anywhere between 3 and 5 or so. So if it's early, then time. We'll come.
Yeah, if you can get away early enough, because
I mean, it's probably going to be close to 7 by the time we're all ready to go somewhere to eat. I bet.
And then by the time he gets up to 15, well, it's only a Thursday, so traffic's not going to be too bad.
Yeah, it's not going to be bad coming in that way. It's never bad that way. I live on the south end of town. It takes me, no matter what day of the week, no matter what the traffic is, it's 15 minutes to get into the strip. So it's
I'm talking about getting out of Southern California. headed to Vegas from Southern California.
He's not really.
Yeah, Fridays are bad. Friday nights, but not Thursdays.
Yeah.
So
I keep thinking tomorrow's like Friday for some reason. It feels like a Friday because I'm leaving work.
And then Sundays, you got to get out of there before 10 in the morning or after 7 at night.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
We do have a question we missed.
What did we miss?
Probably missed
a guy named BR Harris says he's new to the auto trans, using an N2MB to control launch RPM on the trans brake. I'm not sure the exact stall yet. I'm planning on starting out with some foot brake passes on 12 PSI. What should my next steps be in creeping up on this new setup? I don't even know what an N2MB is, so
I don't either.
So they make a little box.
I don't know either. Sorry.
They have like a launch control box and a nitrous box and a boost box. They got they're little tiny boxes to do stuff. I don't know much about it other than I know a guy who was using the nitrous box and it was pretty okay. But
well, step one is finding out where the converter goes on the brake, and then you can work on where you set the two-step from that point for launches. So I just grab the brake and stick your foot in it and just watch it and kind of see where it wants to go and then back it off about 500 RPM there and start from there with your trans brake launches. And then just pick a PSI that the car is going to get out with 6, 8, 10 pounds, depending on how it's set up.
Oh, for Christ's sake, shut up.
Wow.
All right, what else?
Is that a cat?
I thought it was a cat. It sounded like a cat.
I thought my house was a shit show all the time.
Did anybody see what Morris Malone did last week in California?
Holy crap. Did they go 237.5 mile or something?
Last I saw, it was 236.9 or something. Yeah, 236.2.
Jeez.
That's 40.
Yeah, that's fine. Morris Malone, he's a big standing half mile guy, and he's got a C6 Corvette twin turbo 400 inch.
Oh yeah, that guy
and
flying.
Yeah, when he broke he reset the standing half mile rear wheel drive only record at Coalinga. What is it?
Shift sector.
The shift sector never lift half mile event at Coalinga Airport over in California. He went 236.9.
That's getting it,
in the
man.
standing
Good
half
job.
mile.
Damn.
I'm gonna go up to the Speed Addicts event up in North Georgia in next month.
Mm-hmm.
This month, yeah.
Yeah, this month. It's just a couple of weeks out now.
Yeah, like 19th to 20th, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, there'll be some fast cars there too. Yeah, Morris is a good dude. That car flies, man. He finally got some bite. He put that big honking wing on that thing. Whoo, boy. You ought to see this wing, Dan. I wish you could see this wing. It's hilarious. The thing is as wide as the car, and it's a chassis mount, and it's got the struts that come down and bolt through the rear cover of the Corvette.
Like the old Pro Mod standalones?
Like the old Pro Mod standoffs. But instead of being out the top of the bodywork in the back, it's literally out the back, and the stanchion makes a 90-degree turn and goes up.
Because I read they took like the upper section off, and it picked up some mile an hour.
Yeah, it was a dual element. It was a big dual element wing. And this thing's got end plates on it that are like 18 by 24. The end plates are huge. And the thing is, it's literally full width of the car. And it stands up a good solid 2 foot over the roof of the car. And it's huge, man. It's absolutely huge. And it was a dual element. And they, it was literally too much bite. And they took the top element out and picked up like 6 miles an hour.
It'd be interesting to see that thing in a wind tunnel.
Yeah, he posted a picture, and I saved the picture. I was going to get somebody to describe it to me. Evidently, he had the car like squatting massively, or the tires.
Well, they took the picture through the traps, and this thing has got the rear end like literally on the bump stops. Now he has a diffuser out from underneath the car, out from underneath the back. and it sticks out past the rear of the car, probably a good solid 12 inches. Well, this wing put so much downforce in the ass end of this car that it basically put the rear bumper on the bump stops, put the rear suspension on the bump stops. The tires look like an 18-wheeler grossing about 200,000 pounds because they're all twisted up from acceleration and the weight. And then the wing put so much downforce on the car, the end caps and the vertical portions of that diffuser the bottom edge of them got ground off like a half an inch, he said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was literally rubbing against the concrete. It had so much downforce.
That's amazing.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool ride, man. They're putting down some serious power. Holy crap.
Yeah, serious power. Yeah.
Well, that car's got enough to make some serious power, man. That thing is
28 on alcohol, I think, isn't it?
Twin 88s on alcohol, 400 and some inches LME built. It's got Edelbrock LSR heads on top of it, twin 88s, and he'll turn that motor to 9,000 RPM in a heartbeat. He loves RPM with that thing.
Wow.
When Don Curtis asks again, when engine dynoing a boosted application motor but running it NA, will the engine peak at the same RPM under boost, or will it peak higher? It will peak higher, and we can't give you any kind of correlation as to how much it is going to move. But when you start putting boost to the engine, the peaks will move.
Or they can. Yeah. Seen somewhere they didn't move as much, but most of them they'll move.
Yeah, sometimes some move more than others, but it's not uncommon to see the peak horsepower point move 500 to 1,000 RPM under boost.
Well, and especially if you are doing it on a chassis dyno, I mean, you got more converter slip, you got all kinds of stuff shifting that number around and doing weird stuff. So
yeah,
just be aware. What else? Uncomfortable silence. Are there more questions?
On the RPM change, I would think part of that's because you're making the induction package more efficient. And so if you're without the boost, if you're not optimized, adding the boost can cover for problems with the induction tract, which is why the RPM peak would move up, because now it's breathing better.
Yeah. Yeah, the VE will change around, when you change the density of the air.
But if you had something like a Pro Stock motor, you're probably not going to significantly move the peak.
Probably not, because odds are on a Pro Stock engine, it would be hard to get enough turbine and stuff to be free flowing enough not to affect it on that side.
And you're valve train limited, you're not induction limited. You're valve train limited.
Right.
A lot of that has to do with how big the turbo is or how much excess turbo you have.
Turn yourself up there, Mr. Turbo. Sewell. Sorry. Now he fell off.
I just muted myself. I gotta
Tom
see if I can
Sewell,
find it.
you need more boost. Tom Sewell, more boost.
Turn up your boost.
Is that better right there?
That's better.
There you go. There you go.
All right, I was going to say a lot of that has to do with how big of a turbo you're running. If that turbo is maxed out and it peaks really quick, then it's actually going to move your peak torque down. Whereas if you have an oversized turbo, it's probably going to move it up.
Yep.
Don Curtis is asking again, does a vacuum pump help on a boosted application to make more power than breather cans? That's a
yes.
It's a
yes, sir.
It's a I'm gonna say depends. And it can be really hard to do. You got to move a ton of CFM to be able to keep up with all the blow by from a boosted application from big power. I mean, I guess what power level are you talking about? Streetcar stuff?
X2 no, he's talking X275 level.
20 PSI.
He'd probably want to run a really good vacuum pump.
Yeah.
I've heard of a car making around 1,500 pick up 200 with a really good vacuum pump.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
it's doable.
Yep. On mine, basically an 840 tune-up.
This car.
I would be putting some effort into the ring package and the cylinder walls at that point.
Yeah. No doubt, right?
Yeah,
well,
that's something
got to have the ring set up right for the vacuum pump, where it really doesn't do any good because it's helping the cylinder seal is the primary thing it's doing. So you have to have rings that are made to work with that vacuum pump to go out and seal properly.
And then you got to have a vacuum pump that can move a lot of blow by pressure. I'd say start off with a crankcase pressure sensor. I mean, hopefully you got a modern standalone, so it's a cheap $15 in parts thing. to monitor crankcase pressure, but watch that first and use that to decide how well whatever you try to do is working.
Get a 2-bar map so you can see vacuum and boost side of it, so you can tell if it's keeping up or not keeping up enough, because that way you see when it goes above rather than just hitting the 0 point of a 1-bar map.
Yeah, 1.5 or 2-bar map sensor, cheap and easy to find.
And then get at least a 3-vein or a 4-vein vacuum pump, and get a regulator as well, so that you can control how much it does, because you don't want too much vacuum in there. You can actually hurt stuff if you put too much in there. You can hurt wrist pins. You can hurt the rings themselves. So on
a wet sump engine, you're looking at about 12 inches of vacuum is about the most you want to run.
Yeah.
After 12 inches, you'll start to watch oil pressure drop in proportion with vacuum. A dry sump motor, if it's a street car or an endurance motor, I would keep it at that 12, maybe 14. On a drag race engine, run it up to 20,
Now, as long as the engine will seal up, I mean, that's where you start finding all the shit that's not sealing up on the motor, and you're going to spend a lifetime.
You learn a lot. You learn a lot about sealing a motor when you build a vacuum motor. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
And you'll find that you won't find leaks until you disconnect that vacuum pump, because it's sucking in. It's keeping all the little drips and things inside the motor.
Oh, but that's the fun part, because if you have leaks, you won't pull vacuum.
Right. Or you'll pull less depending on the size of the leak.
Right. So what's the problem? Then you got to start looking.
For an extreme case that has a lot of blow by, I wonder if anybody's ever tried to run 2 vacuum pumps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think if you have an extreme case with too much blow by, you need to fix the other problem.
Well, it's got other issues. But I'm talking about, some of these alcohol motors, like let's say a screw blown car type situation that has the puke tanks in the back and everything else. At that point,
and making 3,800 horsepower. Yeah.
Or more. Yeah.
Or more now.
Exactly.
I think
it's possible. I don't know if guys have tried multiple vacuum pumps or just bigger industrial something or other. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're talking about a top alcohol type situation, blowing Hemi.
Yeah.
At that point, they're so focused on managing the clutch. I don't think they pay.
Yeah, I mean, they make more power than they can put. As long as they make more power than they can put down, then it's just build the motor for 120 or build it for 100%, run it at 85%, and worry about managing power.
And those guys built like a 7-stage dry sump vacuum pump on it that does all the work for them. So they're not. I mean, they're built in a way that they've done it long enough.
No, we're getting some feedback. Did you see it? Ryan Hargett posts. We have to run 22 inches of vacuum on our big nitrous stuff, no problem. Yeah. And
we used to run 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much is too much crankcase pressure. Not enough experience. I've just log it and measure it for people.
It's set up on what's too much. Like we said, on a wet sump with rings set up properly, 12 is kind of the max you want to.
Is he talking positive or negative pressure? Because any positive pressure is too much.
Correct.
I can tell you that there are systems in the fuel funny cars that measure crankcase pressure and are connected to the shutoff devices so they can kill the car. It's not a requirement from NHRA unless they've changed it for this year, but teams that I probably shouldn't mention have been doing that for the last couple of years. So when they pressurize the crankcase at 700 or 800 feet, then the thing starts shutting itself off so that they're not blowing the pans off of them and everything else. Yeah. So, and my understanding is they trigger at like 1 pound or something like that, or 2 pounds, or
basically
something tiny.
Positive pressure.
Cool. What else? Keep them rolling, people. I originally said I was just going to do an hour tonight, but we can go longer. I'm caught up.
Did you get your drawers folded?
I got my stuff folded. I can pack it real quick. We good. I heard you guys talking smack. I was over 10 feet across the other side of the room. I had to speak up.
Oh, shit. So, Jake Miller. Hey, Jake Miller says this is a damn good question given the topic. Where's the ideal location for a crankcase pressure sensor at? If you're going
in
to
the crankcase.
Yeah, but where? In the valley?
There's lots of places you can put them, you know.
Dahlquist.
Wherever it's easiest to put it. I mean,
a lot of times,
as long as the motor breathes from side to side, you're fine. You can put it anywhere. It's when it doesn't breathe very well that you pick a spot.
Marky.
A lot of times I'll put it in the valve cover opposite that I'm pulling from. If I'm pulling on a vacuum pump, you know, like an external vacuum pump, pulling from the driver's side valve cover, I'll put the sensor or the gauge on the opposite valve cover. On the dry sump motors, I'll pull off the valley, you know, and the valley plate of the intake, just because it I don't like extra crap on the valve cover, you know.
I pulled from both places on the exact motor, on my motor, and I didn't see any difference between any of the spots I put it.
I think it depends if it's leaking or not, you know.
Yep.
But yeah.
Hey, we just had a really serious technical question. Brad Nagel wants to know, since you guys are all sharing the same bed in Las Vegas, who's going to do the filling in that Oreo?
Not me. Not in on that. Did he actually post that somewhere? He's wiring up a car right now. He's in a great mood.
he probably texts that to Tom.
Is he working on the Buick right now?
No, he's working on. He's down at Scott Dean's. I'll just leave it at that. You guys got some parts on that car, Sewell? You got some stuff on there, don't I think?
Yeah, he's got 2 sets of my injectors.
I have no clue. Scott Dean?
The fridge, the mini fridge, the Colorado, the white one, he's building a new car. That's all. That's all we're saying. That's all I'm allowed. I don't know what I'm allowed to say for sure. He might be talking about it. He might be showing pictures for all I know. Brad's down there wiring it, making it nice.
I've gotten to the point where I can't remember anybody anymore.
No, I know.
Or everybody anymore.
Alicia Clint Dugan changed injectors on my small block Ford F1R from 96 pound per hour to 160 pound per hour. I'm reworking the fuel tables, trying to get it to start and idle, but the driver's side is reading much leaner now than the passenger side. The passenger side has the wideband O2 for the ECU. I have an extra O2 in both sides, both single wideband O2 for monitoring. It feels like it has a dead cylinder and has unburnt fuel for sure coming out the exhaust.
That's what it is. You got a dead hole.
Yep. Thinking about swapping ECU O2 to the opposite side to see the problem, swap sides. Any advice? Yep, swap it around. You may have an injector that's hung open.
I say let it idle and find the dead hole. See what you got a dead hole.
Yep. Yeah. Figure out why that hole is putting...
Incoming message from Scott Dean. They're laughing. Yeah. Yeah, so no debut yet, but it's coming soon. Okay.
You know, that's a good tech question, though, because...
God, I'm not in trouble. Thank you.
The reason I say that is I know some people that have cars that they were trying to get ready for LS Fest West and, you know, in the last minute thrash or what have you. And they found themselves in a situation where they have one hole that isn't right and it's clearly fat on one side and they think that it's got a stuck injector or what have you. And, but they were not real sure on how to test that. And everybody on Facebook, of course, was the expert and, you know, told them a million different things to check. And only one guy stepped up and said the most obvious, like quickest way, which was check and see if one cylinder is cold. You know, I mean, narrow it down real quick with just one cylinder.
This is where EGTs come in the most handy.
This is where a cheap temp gun comes
in. Yeah,
temp gun. A Harbor Freight temp gun is all you need.
Or the spit trick.
And
exactly. And lick your damn fingers and swipe the header tubes for crying out loud. It's not.
Yeah, whichever one doesn't leave a.
Yeah. Yep. Some are going to be about to touch.
Whichever one doesn't give you a second-degree burn.
It's going to be just fine.
No, but it's easy. And the thing is, then you can start tracing from there. And people are so afraid of, you know, of like trying stuff. And I'm blown away too by the number of people that like have a batch fire combo and they've got batch fire going on, and yet they are afraid to change injector leads from one to the other to see if it's electronic versus mechanical problem or what have you. And literally this car was fired up and then sat for a week and then fired up again and it didn't run right. And all these people are going, oh, it's the fuel. It's got to be the fuel. In a week? What are you talking? I mean, come on. Like, I don't have to start my Suburban every 2 days, so it's okay. What the hell?
I was working on some injectors just a few days ago. They're actually 160s that only at a certain pulse width would one injector stick open, and it would come and go. So
you can also have, because you're using the stock ECU, you can also get to a point where you don't have the right injector data in there and it doesn't open properly at very low pulse width. So if you can check what your pulse width is actually doing, you can determine if it's really, really close to that limit on the bottom if you know the injector info. And possibly not all of them are opening the same because there might not be truly matched, so they always open exactly identical.
Right.
One might take a little bit extra time to open. We put them on the injector cleaner all the time, and 6 out of the 8 open at, really tiny pulse width, and the other 2, you got to bump it up a bunch before it starts to open.
Yep.
Well, and I'm blown away by the number of people that think that their high dollar injectors somehow don't need any maintenance, don't need to be checked. You pull the motor apart and you got a set of injectors that are high dollar and they're sitting in a box for 3 months while you put the motor back together, and you don't think to go put them on an injector cleaner machine. And you can just go to your auto parts store. I mean, I happen to be lucky. We have one at West Tech that I can use anytime, but you can go anywhere. They just plug in. It's not a big deal. I mean, I don't know why people don't do that more often, and it's not expensive.
Cleaner through it and send power to it just to make sure that at least they're not fully clogged up.
Yes, exactly.
Worst case, if you really don't have anything, take a jar of gas, stick them in the jar of gas. That's all you got to do. Throw the whole thing right in there,
Yep.
You can also blow them backwards, because usually what happens is the screen in the top clogs up. Most people don't know there's a little tiny screen in there.
Sewell, if these guys say anything that freaks you out, just interrupt them freely.
And you can take a little bit of compressed air and push it through the bottom side of it where the fuel normally comes out of, and it'll push that stuff out the top at least.
Yep. Agreed.
The best thing to do is, if you can power them up and click them, is just spray some WD-40 through them, and let it run through and done.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really hard to do.
The WD-40 will protect them while they sit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just so everybody knows, what would be the longest amount of continuous power you'd want to put to an injector while somebody's doing that before it harms the injector?
Good question.
I mean, you could do it for a few seconds. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything for a few seconds. I mean, I actually had a guy one time. He called me, I have an injector problem, blah, 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 blah. He had 5 of them that were fine, and one of them was absolutely completely melted. Like the plastic melted off the side. And I was like, what'd you do wrong? Oh, we just plugged them in. I was like, you didn't wire hot power to this thing or nothing? Oh, no problems. I'll find a picture of it. I'm like, dude, this just did not happen on its own. You did something really stupid, Like, but yeah, 5 or 10 seconds, anything like that's not going to hurt the injector at all.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to remember they're on for very short bursts, and the fuel itself is what's cooling the injector as it cools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, you can. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't take much to make your own injector cleaning rig at home. I mean, you could do it with a mason jar, a tire chuck, and a little bit of rubber hose, and a battery and some wires and a momentary switch.
A 9-volt, some WD-40, and your lips will do it.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know. What the hell? Probably. What the hell? Where the hell did that come? Lips? How are you going to add lips into that?
Well, you could spray the WD-40 out, activate the injector, and just blow it through with your mouth.
Small piece of rubber hose.
Okay. Well, see here, I was at least thinking, or you didn't have to suck, risk swallowing WD-40. I was thinking, take a mason jar and drill a hole and pop a little air chuck in it and throw a little WD-40 in it, pressurize it with a little bit of air, and stick a feed hose onto the injector off of that jar, and then click it with some electricity,
If somebody sucks through the WD-40 themselves, it's called natural selection.
Yeah, you spray some in and just blow it through with your mouth.
Tide Pods.
Tide Pods.
That's true.
It makes the Tide Pods dissolve quicker.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure. Okay. I just putting my lips on something that's even close to WD-40 or gasoline or anything like that. It's just not an enjoyable experience for me.
Or the carburetor cleaner.
Yeah, or carburetor cleaner. I had a really bad
Well, it's way
experience.
better than like brake fluid or something.
Well,
though.
very true. I mean, I just had a bad experience when I was a kid. My dad was trying to teach me how to siphon gas out of a vehicle.
I got the same treatment from my dad.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
We've all been through that.
There was
then the neighbor woke up at midnight.
Growing up, big boy.
Hey, then the neighbor woke up at midnight. Man, he was pissed.
Hey, you know the guy at the swap meet that sells that clear tube with the little copper thing with the check ball in it that you jiggle in the gas tank to siphon gas out?
Yeah.
Okay, that dude wants every dad in the world to try and teach his son how to siphon gas.
Right. And by the way,
as soon as I saw that the first time, I'm like, yeah, we're buying us one of them. Like right now.
Get this,
My dad's like, why? I'm like, no, really, we're buying one of those.
Did you know he swallowed a mouthful of 87 or 91 octane to come up with the idea for that part.
Oh, I'll bet you he swallowed way more than a mouthful.
Something I've never heard of. Last night, me and my buddies went to go look at a box Chevy dually and put some gas in it, and the 3-gallon gas can had an electric pump on it with 2 D-volt batteries.
Yep.
Wow.
I've never seen one. The guy that had it, he owns a motorcycle shop. He does a lot of custom painting. So I guess he does that to keep from spilling paint, gas on his paint jobs. But I had never heard of that. That was pretty cool.
Brad Nagel, you can kiss my little white ass.
He's harassing you in the message thread. That's funny.
Hey, just so everybody else knows, Brad said Bewley just said he was a spitter.
He's like, did Bewley just say he's a spitter?
Where are you guys seeing this? I keep missing it.
It's in the group. It's in our group chat,
Mr. Nagel. He's hilarious.
I don't even know where that is. So thank you. You guys should be thankful.
Right.
I'll
need
ruin all of it.
We need to add Chad to that.
Oh God, no! I'll just read whatever I see. It's bad. I think everybody could be in agreement that we're really okay already.
Man, I love having you around. You make me look like a saint some days.
So, are you going to be at LS Fest?
I'm flying into Vegas tomorrow afternoon, and I'm landing at 4:30. So get your ass there so we can go to dinner tomorrow night.
Okay, I'll work on it.
We're trying to get it where we all have an experience of going and eating and being going and eating dinner served by Gordon Ramsay. So we're hoping we're all going to get lucky to be able to have that story to share.
Seriously,
Scott Evans
kick me out of that place.
Scott Evans was kind enough to take me when I was there, and it was absolutely unbelievable.
Well, there you go.
That's the plan. I mean,
we have been hearing this story for so long, and I'm so jealous about it.
We got to try it out.
Yeah, we've got to try and see if we can.
Scott, you better arrange for Gordon Ramsay himself to show up. And
I don't have that kind of power. About the only power I have is the special dessert thing they do.
He did though at one point in time, right? Didn't you actually have?
So a buddy of mine used to work there, and when Gordon comes in to do the TV show stuff that they do from Caesars, he comes in early and likes to help people out and like tell them, hey, bring your friends and family in and he'll cook for them. And I got the experience of being there at the right time. And my buddy said, hey, come to dinner tonight. And I said, okay, sure. What's happening? He said, just come to dinner tonight. And I show up and it's cooked directly by Gordon Ramsay. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Badass.
Is he a dick or is he cool?
Super nice. All TV show personality.
Yeah, I've watched his show, the one with the kids on it. And that one,
amazing.
like Daphne used to watch that all the time, and she'd go, okay, he actually has a heart. Like, this guy's actually cool.
Jennifer said the same thing.
Super friendly, super nice. I mean, really, really, really cool guy. Just, he's told, be an asshole to these adults on TV who don't know how to act like children,
Right.
Yeah, Jennifer watches the kids show. Same thing. She said.
Yeah, it's great.
Jimmy Bowling, there ain't no way in hell we could follow you, son. You're a one of a kind. We're just following your example.
What are you talking about?
Jimmy made a comment that said, we're all trying to follow his lead with the perversion. I'm like, yeah, we can't live up. We can't live up to Jimmy Bowling. We can't even come close.
Yeah, we aren't. No, we're nowhere near.
Guys, getting tired yet? Did we put Dahlquist to sleep?
I think Dahlquist is like trying to get caught up on the group chat.
I'm still here.
Oh, well, if there's some coming off of a Mixler there, check out the Bradley Campbell one. Different injectors have different resistance. He's getting ready to rebuild and clean some red top Bosch injectors, and all 8 were 14.7. I assume consistency is more important, up to a reasonable level, of course. I don't know the answer to that one. Hopefully Tom's got an answer.
Typically, injectors of the same specific part number, they're very, very close in resistance. If not, then there's a problem. When I say close, usually within 0.1 or 2 ohms of each other. Any more than that would be considered pretty far off.
Very cool.
Oh, that's funny.
You guys see my active weather map going on there? Is that fancy or what?
That's ridiculous, dude. Look at all those cells popping up.
Oh, and it's nuts. I'm telling you what, man. The hell, eastern half
that's
of the country
like the whole. Yeah, that's like the whole eastern half of the country.
It's like somebody just dropping bombs on us.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like blue paintballs getting splattered all across the country there that are like 100 miles in diameter.
A lot of that looks like it's humidity pop up though. From that, it's not the way it's pocketed. It's all humidity driven right there.
Could be. Oh, look, the comments talking about how good the jiggle tube works. Oh, it actually has a name, the jiggle tube. Wow.
It does work really good.
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
You are talking about the siphon hose thing, right, Chad?
Yes.
All right, just double check it.
Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe not. But yes.
I knew that was coming. Oh.
No, I still can't believe that Clark thinks this is a good idea.
It's called the Super Jiggler. Okay, superjiggler.com.
I'm not sure. I still think it's a good idea, but I did at one point in time. Good intentions.
And now you're just afraid to stop.
Exactly right. It's like running away. I'm like, I can't stop it now.
It's a gravity pump, is what it is.
It's like when a diesel starts running away and you're staring at it for a second. You know what to do to try and stop it.
Yeah, but you only stand back so far, right? You're making that little calculation in your head. How far can this thing fling parts? This old Detroit that's running away? Because I definitely want to see what happens. That's how it feels. When this thing lets go, it's going to be awesome.
But I don't know how. I want to be close enough to see it really good, but not so close as to be a victim.
Right.
It's like tell the 4G63 blowing up on the chassis dyno hot part story there, Scott.
Oh, that was from like 1998.
Yeah.
We were getting ready to. We were seeing how much we could make out of pretty much stock everything. 4G63. I think he had a different turbo on it and fuel system. I think that was it, and it was stock intake and a bunch of other shit that was just junk. And it was we were making mid 7s on a dyno jet, getting ready to spray it too and see if it would hold together because we were out of turbo that we had. But I don't even remember what he was doing. But it was funny, and it let go. It chucked a rod, and it went like 40 feet. About knee height across the room and stuck in the drywall in the back of the room, like hanging out, like right next to it was Kyle Loftus, actually 1320 video guy was sitting there filming, and it was like 4 feet away from me. He's like, hey, wow. I mean, if you know Kyle, he never gets worked up about anything. It's like, wow. It was, I mean, obviously it taught us a little lesson. Luckily nobody got hurt, but those little things will send the rods out in front of the car, the little laterally mounted engines or whatever. Kind of interesting.
I got one similar.
And didn't one of the guys reach down and try and pick up a part?
Oh yeah, there's a video of it. And they picked up the part. It's like, that's hot. Well, no shit.
When I was doing woodworking at the shop, after I went blind, the saw kicked back one day, and this piece of wood went flying. Well, hell, I never found it. I was at the shop the other day, and he looks up in my ceiling, and he says, why is that piece of wood stuck in insulation up there? I thought, man, that's where it went.
Every day.
God.
You're lucky they didn't hit you in the face.
No, I know.
Because you still got a real pretty face. You're a stud.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
You know, my buddy Tim Strange today he works by himself. He builds, really high-end custom cars, but he was working with a 3-inch little cutoff wheel, 1/8-inch wheel. And the wheel came apart on whatever it was he was using, and it hit him in the upper arm. Okay. And it cut him bad enough that he thought, oh crap, I might bleed out from this. Like, this is bad. So he put a tourniquet on himself and everything, and then got in the truck and drove himself to the hospital. And the doctor's like, okay, it's a good thing that you did the tourniquet, and it's a good thing that it hit you where it did, because if it was any lower at this depth, it would have made it so your hand didn't work. I mean, it was like that bad. And of course, his wife is at LS Fest working, because she works for FM3, and so yeah, she was none too happy about it, but he, like I said, he survived it, luckily. But yeah, the doctors did like 2 rows of stitches. They did the internal ones and the external ones. I mean, he cut himself that bad.
That's why I always wear gloves and a face shield with a grinder of any kind.
That makes you want to pull out a welder's coat, like a leather welder's coat on your upper body to work with that stuff. To me.
See, I'm not good about always wearing gloves, but I do wear the face shield. And I've had the 4.5-inch angle grinder with a flap disc on it. The flap disc come apart, and because the imbalance, the thing came up and just bashed me square in the face before I could let go of the trigger. I mean, it was that fast. And we were filming a TV show at the time, and dude, it split my lip open. I mean, it beat me up like I'd been in a fight.
About 2 months.
If I hadn't had the shield on, I mean, dude, it would have been real bad.
About 2 months before the wreck, I was inside of a chassis grinding, and it kicked back, and I had a sweatshirt on. It was wintertime, and it grabbed my sweatshirt.
Ooh.
They said I unwound it, went back to it. Well, about 10 minutes later, it did it again. It cut through the sweatshirt and just cut all the way across my chest. They said I got out of the car and just beat the grinder, swinging it by the cord till it exploded. Then real calmly, I said, hey, y'all want to go to lunch? I need to stop by Home Depot, get a grinder. This is bad.
Okay, that's awesome.
This one fell.
That's goodness. I appreciate that one.
More.
We got any more questions? The big tires go on the back.
Yeah, if you're doing it right, the big tires go on the back. You're right.
So, I mean, we can wind it down if they want. Nobody keeps no more questions coming.
I got one joke I want to tell if y'all want to hear it.
Have it, brother.
It's your turn.
Okay.
Go for
We'll
it.
try comedy. We'll see how this goes over.
Scott was talking about his underwear a while ago, and Chad's met a friend of mine named Ray Herring. But Ray and his buddy were sharing an apartment, and Ray's an absolute idiot. So his buddy calls him. He says, man, I got a date coming down from Atlanta. She's got to meet me at the apartment. We're going to go to dinner after I get off work. I get cleaned up. He said, if you would, just act like you got some sense. No problem. So they're talking. Everything's good. And Ray's talking to her. His buddy gets a shower. So Ray's real polite to her. His buddy comes out, and they're talking. So Ray slips into the bedroom, gets a pair of underwear and some shoe polish, and puts a gigantic skid mark down the back of the underwear, and then takes them while him and the guy and his dates in the living room and throws them on the coffee table. He said, man, if I've asked you once, I've asked you a million times, quit leaving your underwear on the bathroom floor. He said the guy didn't get a second date again. Never heard from her again after that.
That's just mean, but I like it.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh,
I'm going to put that one on my memory banks right there. I'm going to use that one on Cole.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The next time he has a date, come to the house, hook him up.
Yeah. Yeah, he deserves it.
I saw
That'd be
Cole's
awesome.
prom date. Woo!
Yeah, she's just a friend,
Oh,
so
has he been friend zoned? That happens a lot.
Man, speaking of friend zoning, did anybody watch the video from like The Price is Right or whatever the other day?
Yeah, or like the game show where the guy gets way. She's like, I'm single.
How long y'all been together for?
6 months. Oh no, we're just friends.
We're just friends. I'm single.
Wow.
Oh yeah, on national television.
Somebody post a
man,
link to that because that was really funny.
That was always hilarious.
I want people who haven't seen that to see that.
Everybody needs to see that.
I would have got rid of that chick just for not being nice enough to just keep her stupid mouth shut.
He probably paid for the tickets for the whole thing and all that and travel.
And she's like, the minute he opened his mouth and responded to the question, she started laughing at him. It was bad. You knew what was going to happen the minute she started laughing.
It wasn't so bad until she's like, I'm single though. I'm single. You know, like she was trying to hook up on TV. It's like, that was the part where really made me not like her.
Good looking. You know,
my Tinder account
she was a hottie.
My Tinder account is.
It was 1988 or something. I mean, it was obviously like really old. They look like pre-Miami Vice.
No, I honestly think that was like a couple of hipsters, and that was actually filmed like day yesterday.
Oh, no kidding. I thought it was old.
No, I think it.
Then it was weak, and it was weak production.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Hipsters
but it couldn't be.
Dumb.
I mean, it couldn't be that old because it had Wayne Brady was the host.
Oh
okay,
yeah,
couldn't be that old.
True.
It's
and he's only
contemporary.
Been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's contemporary, and it's just like I said, it's just plaid shirt with a polka dot bow tie crap type hipster wearing bullshit. But
now I gotta go find this.
Yeah, you gotta go find it.
I'm looking. I don't know if I can bring it up on the stream, but
Daryl Yost wants to know who else going to Rocky Mountain Race Week and maybe possibly have Matt Frost on.
We could totally do that if he wants to get on.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Race Week is going to be awesome this year. There's only a handful of spots left, but man, what a great event that is! It's
I
so
like
rad.
Rocky Mountain Race
I
Week.
worship that thing.
Yep, I like it a lot.
Me too. Yep, we will be there. I need. Does anybody have a Pro Charger laying around that I can borrow for like a few months?
Have a what?
Like what? What size?
I need a Pro Charger to bolt onto Daphne's car, and or a Vortec. I don't care. A centrifugal supercharger. Because I can't spray it with this much nitrous anymore without being in danger. And I want it to go quicker than it goes now. And I'm afraid I'm going to hurt it because I'm being real mean to it. When Mike Thermos is sitting across the table from you and you're talking to him about the amount of nitrous you're doing, and he raises up one of them big bushy eyebrows of his and looks at you and goes, "Wow, Chad, that's a lot of nitrous." and when he offers, he goes, "Okay, if you're going to spray that much, you should do it with all individual port nitrous. And if you just bring me an intake, for the love of God, I'll plumb it for you." I mean, he feels bad for me because he knows that I'm trying to hurt this thing. And thank God the Blueprint engine doesn't know any better, and it just keeps doing what it's supposed to do. But I think that the smart way to go would be to put a centrifugal on this thing and make some more power with the centrifugal, and then just put 100 shot of nitrous on it just to be, that guy.
You could just run nano so you don't have pressure drop.
Boom.
Do what?
Or you could just run nano so you don't have pressure drop.
That's true, but that would just be more shit I got to put in the car,
I'm happy with the nano.
Okay.
Oh, do you have brackets? Can you get brackets, or you just need a head unit, or you need the whole thing? What do you got going on there?
I have nothing, but I probably could get some stuff. I don't know. I haven't made any calls or anything. My old guy that used to be at Pro Charger isn't there anymore, so I don't know anybody over there anymore. So I have not made any phone calls either. But
okay. Well, call Radzins.
Eric.
Call Eric.
Yep, Eric.
Yeah, call Eric.
Eric
and see
who?
what Eric Radzins. RADZINS.
Somebody tag
RADZINS.
ZINS.
Okay.
He might. If anything, I think I have a TI head unit I could get you.
Okay.
but he might be
Well,
able to get you. He might be able
I'll
to get you
reach out to
brackets and
him.
everything.
I'll reach out to him. What is he? Is he the marketing guy or tech guy or what?
I don't know what he does. I just know
He's
works
the
there.
tuner there.
He does everything.
Yeah, he's jack of
Okay.
all trades, master of none.
Awesome. Sounds just like the rest of us.
Ain't that the truth? He would fit right
Yeah.
in. We need to have him on the show one night, Mo. He would.
Yeah,
there you
he would
go.
be good. He would be good for the show one night.
He would.
He would. He'd talk.
Yep.
He'd talk our ear off.
Yeah, he will. Yep. I
We
just
didn't-
tagged him in the Facebook comments, so I don't know if he'll see it, but yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, he could
Yeah, 'cause
definitely.
I'm
He could
thinking
definitely get it
that,
done.
500 horse small block and make it 700 with the happy little centrifugal.
How much time
And-
do you have left? I could see if I can get him on here.
You got 15 minutes. Have him on. I've got the game show going, by the way. It's on the stream. Would be coming across.
He might be
What?
working. He might be working on his man cave, Mo. You never know. I don't know if he's paying attention or not.
You know his man cave's just down the street from me.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to come see that place because that is like epic. I've been keeping up with that, and it's absolutely epic. We need to do an episode of the show like the night of the grand opening of the man cave or something from that man cave. I would drive to Kansas City for that.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
That's ridiculous. And if any of you guys are wondering what we're talking about, Eric owns an old, I don't know if it's a concrete plant or a flour mill of some sort. He bought an old industrial property, and now he is redoing this place into like, I don't know if it's a bar or if he's going to like open something, but I know part of it is literally just like his man cave to park his car collection. And
Really?
he's been redoing it all, refinishing it all, and he posts pictures of it on occasionally. You can go to his Facebook and take a look and look at the progress he's making on it. But it's going to turn out just absolutely gorgeous. Like this building is absolutely huge, man. It's like 5 or 6 stories tall. It had grain bins and stuff on the roof of it, like 200 foot in the air.
They had a water tower up there too, didn't
Yeah,
they?
well, big water tower, and he posted pictures of him, taking a crane and taking some of the stuff off the roof and doing this, doing that. It's been fun to follow along as he's reworked this property and revitalized this property.
Cool.
And the finishes and stuff, what he's doing on the interior, the bar he put in it, it's absolutely cool to look at how he's done it. And it's all car centric, it's got like parking spots inside to look at the cars, and all kinds of stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, you should have seen.
I'm opening up his Facebook page right now because everything you're saying is getting me aroused. So,
I know. Yeah, you will be on. Yeah, anywhere near Kansas City, you're going to be there. I know you. So yeah, I can tell.
All
that
the
gets you
cool
excited.
stuff's in Bonner.
I know, right?
we are in the process of planning out our giant, what I call a warehome. In Texas, they call them barn dominiums. It depends on who you are and where you are and what
Building
you
the
call
ultimate
it. But,
man cave.
yeah, we're gonna do, or the goal is we're trying to figure out all the details, but the goal is to do like 7,500 square feet or so of metal building with 2,000 square feet of 2-story living in it for me and the kids, and then 1,000 square feet of single-story living in it for my mom and dad, and the remainder as shop space. So that we have 5,000 or so square feet of shop space, which would be awesome.
Cool. I guess he said he's fixing his AC in his house.
Man, that shit's like running rampant today. I had to do that today too.
Yeah, and it's like way muggy here in Kansas right now. So
yeah, it was like 85 today, and I went to turn the air conditioner on for the first time for the year last night, and I didn't get cool air out of the vents, so I was a little upset. Turns out my AC system leaked all the Freon off over the winter, so we had to recharge it today.
We have the heater on right now in our house because it's been cold and rainy here. But now it's going to get into the 90s starting, like tomorrow will be in the 80s and the day after in the 90s. It's supposed to be 100 by Sunday at LS Best West.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Yeah, high 90s here in Vegas over the weekend.
So in the last few weeks, it's gone from being cold and wintry to needing to use the AC.
Yep. Literally 1 week it was freezing our asses off. 2 days it was like 70 degrees and nice, and then it got hot.
Dude, I'm looking at these pictures of Eric's building, and it's badass.
Yeah, the pictures don't even do it justice. It's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I want to come visit him.
He's got like all this neat tech stuff in there. I give him crap that it's like, where's Jarvis?
Is he going to have like robots walking around to bring you a drink out of the refrigerator or something? Because I totally see that coming from him.
Right?
Like, and they're home built, and they're like, he built them himself as a side project in between like his 80-hour work weeks at ProCharger.
How long has he been working on this building?
Like 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
he got the water tower and stuff down last fall, and that's when like most of the big work started. He was just doing.
Yeah, how in the hell does he?
Hey, did you guys see that
how
picture
does he
where
work
he was
a job and get all this stuff done?
He never sleeps.
He's
like a vampire.
Apparently not.
I think he's mastered time travel.
Hey, did you guys see the
Or
picture?
he's the only guy on Earth that can do meth and not be a weirdo.
Oh wow! I can't wait for him to hear that shit. That's hilarious.
Well, because you can get some shit done if you're on meth, but it's just the side effects kind of suck. Wow.
You guys should see
this guy is certifiably a badass. And I think I've met Eric before. Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. Yeah.
You guys should see the picture he posted. He was cutting some concrete, and apparently they didn't mark some underground telephone wires, and he cut something like 1,000 different cables last week.
They forgot.
Half the city lost their internet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the AT&T lines for Bonnie.
Oh, yeah, and he was it when he was cutting the concrete, or was when they were doing that when they were doing it outside?
Yeah, they were cutting the concrete outside.
Oh, I just saw him cutting the concrete inside where they were redoing that one floor. I guess putting the lift in and doing something else. I didn't see him cut, but I did see the picture of him holding up the cut bundle of fiber optics. And I'm like,
that's a do-over.
Laughing, dude.
Yeah, that's not a cheap fix either.
That's a do-over.
Yeah, because can you imagine if that was actually his fault? How much they would charge him to redo that and fix it? Because it was the utility company's fault for not marking the lines, because he called them and did everything he was supposed to do, and they literally just didn't look up where the AT&T lines were, and they ended up cutting right through them.
Oh, yeah,
man, I'm trying to find that picture now. Damn it, where did it go?
No, and on the inside of the building, when they were cutting concrete, there was something where the building, like a different part of the building, and there was like a big hole, and it like sunk in. He'll have to talk about it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is an old seed plant too. We're right on that. It's a seed plant.
Yeah, old feed mill.
And it is spectacular.
Oh man, some of the outside, he took some like he's got some drone footage of flying around it, like when he first got the property or when he first started posting about the property, and the building is just huge. And he says he's got plans for the whole building, and he's just going to, bite off a little bit at a time and rework part of it. And I can't wait to see the whole thing redone. It's going to be epic.
Is he going to live in it, or
I don't know.
Part of it commercial space, or do you know?
I have no clue, man. I don't know, but like some of the treatments and stuff that he's posting on the doors and stuff, I'd want to live in it.
Me too.
Like one picture he posted on the 21st with like the stone and the I don't know if it's stucco, black stucco, and the gray stone on the outside of the building. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, what it is where you're working now is like a members only car storage brewery. It's really badass.
Wow. Yeah, this
that's-
thing is awesome. I mean, and there's even like curled paint everywhere that you could chew on because it's sweet with wonderful lead and everything. I mean, this place is magic.
Yeah, the bar area. He was showing. He just finished the where the cooler is and the granite tables, and it's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm dumbfounded. I'm looking at this thing thinking they pay him a lot of money at ProCharger, and or somebody just needed this to not belong to them anymore. And he ended up with this incredibly cool spot.
Oh, you should have seen it when he started. I mean, it was. You got to look back at when he first took over the building. I mean, there was this basement that looked like a scene out of The Ring. I mean, it was.
It was bad. It was bad.
I'm looking at some of the old parts where they were exploring, and it looks like there's standing water in the bottom of it that's real bad.
Oh yeah, there was like. Yeah.
Hey, I just sent you guys a picture. Of
I
one
got
you
that
guys
picture.
want to share.
I'd hate to be the guy running that backhoe.
Scott needs to post that picture on the feed.
I don't
All right,
know
hold
how
on,
to do
working
it,
it.
but there it is.
I'm working it.
Shit.
Give me 30 seconds.
Where is the?
He's going to post in just a second, Chad.
I'm working on it.
There's a lot. Okay, but where am I going to look at this? Is this on Facebook or YouTube?
It's
Look
going to be on this
Facebook.
video stream in a minute, in about 60 seconds or less.
Wow.
Oh, you're going to add it to the feed?
Yeah. Sit tight. It's coming.
That way
I'm almost
everybody else
there.
can see what I'm talking about. They're all probably
They're like, what are they talking about? No, I'll get it up just a second.
Might be able to send it.
I could see some dude out there with a bunch of splices trying to put that thing back together.
Dude, he'd go through like 5 boxes of splices to do that bundle.
Oh yeah, and they had to like sit in a hole and one by one do each wire.
And it'd take a week. That'd be ridiculous. Rick Burdine, quick question. What are the benefits, if any, to putting a teal style V-band housing on an S480, trying to stay in the same chassis turbocharger?
Chad, I just texted you the picture.
Oh, did you?
The one advantage with the teal housing is it's a single entry housing, so you can run a merged hot side and not experience any spool response loss with it. It's also stainless steel, so it doesn't rust and corrode. Chad just saw the picture.
Okay, I just posted the picture. It's coming up now.
Holy crap.
Good luck. Love to be the guy that's splicing
really easy
that.
to mount and rotate stuff.
Yeah. It's smaller. It's less.
Oh my!
Oh, I had to find it.
Okay, I used to hire the guys that did the splices for fiber. Okay, way back in the day, and oh my god, that's hilarious.
That sucks.
Wow.
Was somebody trenching? Refresh me here.
Bundle.
What happened to that? How did this happen? I was stepped out for a minute.
Yeah, apparently he asked the utility company to come mark everything that he needed to be aware of, and they said everything's good. You can, dig, drill, whatever. And they used a concrete saw or whatever and cut right through the whole trunk for the whole town.
That's a
They're running the wires for his gate, his electric gate. Yep.
Dude, that's so epic right there. Wow.
That kind of looks like my dog's rope. It looks like
And Lindsay would have a good time with all that copper.
I would love to know what that costs.
Well, that's not copper. That's fiber optic.
Are you sure?
Exactly. That's going to be expensive.
Yeah,
Fiber.
that's the AT&T line.
It looks like a bunch of pairs to me.
Yeah, that's the way they wrap them.
Interesting.
That's how they pack them into that cable so tight. It's all splayed out because now they've unraveled because now they're no longer under pressure.
Yeah, because the casement for those, if you'll see it's braided, and in order to make it so that you can bend it without hurting it and all that, and it's crazy how expensive that stuff is. Dude, this building is still so rad. I cannot get over it. I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is how Bonner is around here. We literally take our golf cart from our shop to
You take the golf cart to where?
From our shop here to his building.
Oh, nice.
What is it, like a half a mile down the road?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is.
It is awesome. I'm coming to Kansas City to hang out with all you idiots.
I would totally have a path beat down on like the side of the road in the easement or something to drive the golf cart down without even getting on the road.
Oh no, we take it down the road.
All right. I got to pack my bags, brother. I got to be on a plane early in the morning, so.
That's right. I got to go pack. I've got to go
pack. You're no fun.
I hear you. No, it's all right. We got to roll, but good hearing from all you guys tonight.
Hey, you know what, Scott? Just leave the thing running. It'll be fine. You go do whatever you got to do.
No, I'll leave you guys chatting.
We'll turn the lights out when we're done.
Oh, no.
We'll leave it in Chad's capable hands.
All right.
6 hours later.
Right, exactly.
What could possibly go wrong?
The FCC calling.
Just stop on